back to the Center for American Progress again. This president either has a lot of connections in real spooky and dark places, or it's the saddest story I've ever heard. Because every time we start to look into President Obama, we either find a Marxist, a communist, or somebody a part of Crime Inc. that's screwing you, the taxpayer, to the wall. Oh, I'm betting on it's just hard luck. Oh, he just has 4,000 times the average happenstance connections. It's weird. You're going to have to make the call on that. America, do your own homework because no one else will. It is time for you as a citizen to step to the plate. We've had the free ride. It's time for you to do the homework yourself. Something is wrong here. Everything you see on TV seems to be a puppet show. A puppet show. Tony Podesta, John Podesta, George Soros, Obama, cap and trade, all of it. Aren't you glad we still have 29 more minutes to continue to cover this? Because, oh, there's more, lots more, next.
Tomorrow, America heading toward Europe. Find out what our financial future holds and what will be left, if anything, for your kids. Set your DVR.
Later this week, we're going to talk a little bit about immigration. The administration has announced they're going to go after Arizona on the immigration law. We'll talk about that and the amazing video you can find at glennbeck.com on Senator Kyle's comments about his one-on-one meeting with the president on immigration reform. It's stunning. Also, another amazing story from Arizona where federal lands are now being closed to Americans because of the dangers of, quote, human and drug trafficking along this Mexican border. 80 miles into our border, and we've closed it. We might as well give that land to Mexico. Oh, I think we may have just done that. I showed you last break how strikingly similar the ideas from George Soros and the Center for American Progress are to the agenda items of Barack Obama. Yeah, Center for American Progress. Reagan had the Heritage Foundation, but I don't remember the spooky dudes in that. People getting rich off of that one. You have progressive power players standing make a fortune off of the decisions that this administration is pushing. I like to call it Crime Inc., because that's what it is. You're getting screwed in the end. For example, Soros is going to make billions if America cuts back on its offshore drilling operation. America cutting back will leave a gaping void that will likely be filled by an already large producer called Petrobras. Petrobras, one of the top 2 investments of George Soros. It's the Brazilian oil company. Now, as luck would have it, what has the Obama administration done? They have announced a 6-month moratorium on all offshore drilling, not just deep water, but all offshore drilling, because they hate drilling. The administration has resorted to Crime Inc. in order to get this moratorium. Man, they must really believe in what they preach, right? That the earth gets an ouchie every time we just take a little needle and prick it for some little oil. Oh, it's not nice. 500 feet. Stop it. Because Al Gore and the earth are having hot flashes as a temperature. All right, no drilling, get off of oil. That's what the president campaigned on. But there must have been a small asterisk next to Obama's campaign promise, because the administration is full steam ahead with offshore drilling, with Petrobras in Brazil. We have given a check, or a promise for a check. I mean, Brazil, we're not good for the money. You know that, right? $2 billion has been given in a preliminary commitment to the Brazilian oil company for Petrobras for offshore drilling just last August. I have a question for you. We're going after the oil companies here because we say they windfall profits. This is a profitable company in Brazil. We're giving them $2 billion in a loan? Why? When asked about it, Robert Gibbs said this.
There are a couple of reports about an Ex-Im import bank loan to the Brazilian government for offshore drilling to Petrobras. And I'm wondering if you can give us an administration take on why the investment in Brazil and petroleum exploration there is a good idea, helpful for the U.S. economy, helpful for U.S. workers.
I have not seen the story. I'd have to tell you.
Maybe he wasn't prepared to comment on it because it seems to fly in the face of everything that Obama believes in. Maybe a member of the press will ask about this again now that you're starting to see the whole picture. Anyway, back to the moratorium. The White House even said the action was justified because a panel of 15 experts who, and I love this, peer-reviewed the department's recommendations, agreed with their offshore drilling moratorium on existing drilling and new permits to drill. Only one teeny itsy bitsy, I hate to even mention it, it's so small of a problem. The experts that peer-reviewed it, they're a little upset because they say that wasn't in the document that they peer-reviewed. Yeah, they didn't sign off on the moratorium at all. They say that the administration added 2 whole paragraphs on the ban after they signed the report. The experts are actually completely against the drill ban and warn that it would harm the economy and make the situation in the Gulf more dangerous. In a letter to the Interior Department, 8 of the experts, but don't let this bother you, these are the same kind of games that they were playing with global warming. 8 of their experts write this: a blanket moratorium is not the answer. It will not measurably reduce the risk further, and it will have lasting impact on the nation's economy, which may be greater than the oil spill. And look at this. For the purposes of the moratorium, the federal government classifies any drilling on 500 feet as deep. I want to show you, this is the, we got to stop it. This is how deep we went with Deepwater Horizon, okay? You'll see that that is about here. Earth has a temperature, okay? Let me you got to wait for this. You get up, go to the potty for a second, and come back, because you have to see how deep deepwater drilling is for Petrobras. Brazil, they're crazy. Thong bikini and drilling deep. I'll show you that next. I want you to do your own homework on this, and I want you to spread it to your friends. We're talking about the 6-month moratorium Obama has put on offshore drilling. For purposes of the moratorium, the federal government classifies any drilling in depths beyond 500 feet as spooky. It's deep, we can't do it. Now here's the BP Deepwater Horizon rig. Now, obviously not to scale. We can't do it to scale because, well, we ran out of ceiling and floor. 500 feet. This one's 5,000 feet. Now, Obama says, that's too dangerous. That's going to give the Earth a boo-boo. We don't know what we're doing. We got to stop that right now. Except, if you remember, earlier in the program, Lovey, Crime Inc., George Soros, Petrobras, second biggest, one of the 2 top investments of George Soros. He buys into Petrobras, that is the oil company of Brazil. Obama has loaned $2 billion to this company. And what are they doing? They're doing a drill up to 14,022 feet. 5,000 feet, Deepwater Horizon in the Gulf. This one's 14,000. They haven't started yet, but that's what we're loaning the money for. Now, I'm not a mathematician, but this doesn't make any sense. We're willing to ship $2 billion that we don't have over to Brazil to perform the exact same task that Obama wants to ban here, except he wants to ban it at a much safer depth. The moratorium is going to cost, reportedly, rig workers as much as $330 million a month in direct wages. Help me out with this, please. Can somebody in the media ask this question? Why are we willing to lose almost $6 billion in lost wages here in America? Now, I'm not a fan of BP, and in fact, I got to tell you something. Something is wrong here. Something is wrong. But the way we're reacting to this whole mess, why should they be paying for the 6 months of oil workers that are out of work when it's Obama banning the drilling for 6 months? And that's not a ban, that's a death sentence. We have 35 rigs that are going to be sitting idle now. And they won't sit idle forever. They don't make these, they don't come off the block. Those jobs are going to vanish. Someone else will get them. People are already bidding on the rigs that we won't be using. And we will be devastated. There's only one person that wins. One person, one company, Petrobras. One person, George Soros. More next. We're talking today about the BP oil spill and the story that nobody seems to be willing to piece together and bring to you. You know, we have been taught constantly lately to just memorize dates, that nothing in life is connected. Just memorize, that's what history is about, is dates and places. We have to stop that line of thinking. Stories are connected. Stories are connected. Tonight, we've shown you Crime Inc. again, except now it's on BP. We've shown you how George Soros and the Center for American Progress have a huge influence on the policy of this administration. That George Soros owns tons of stock in a Brazilian oil company. It should raise eyebrows when the guy who said he'd stop the oceans from rising wants to send $2 billion to that very same Brazilian oil company for offshore drilling. This is a multi-billion-dollar company in Brazil. They make $15 billion a year in profit. Why would we lend them, what is that, 13%? 13% of their profit. Why would we loan them? What? We're trying to take money away from the oil companies here. Why would we loan them money? This is a president who actually told Americans to inflate their tires to proper tire pressure in order to help the earth rid itself of a fever. This is a president who told America we can no longer drive our SUVs and asked China to cut back. He's just told us we got to get out of the oil business. This is the same president who's now putting American jobs at peril during the worst economic crisis since the Depression by banning offshore drilling for 6 months. And we're supposed to look the other way when he marches forward and says, this is bad to drill at this depth, this is BP, we've got to stop this for sure, and then sends money over to George Soros in his investment over in Brazil when it's a lot deeper. Other than the shareholders getting rich and America losing, this program is going to expose for the next few days and the next few weeks, again, more on Crime Inc. What is this administration really all about?
Obama's decision is just plain stupid on energy security grounds. You have the Iranians practicing publicly how to close the Straits of Hormuz. You have Chavez as a dictator in Venezuela threatening our supply there. You have total instability in the Middle East. I mean, if there was ever a time you need an American energy policy to get free of the Middle East, it is right now. And my goal is to make America so energy independent that no American president ever again bows to a Saudi king. But there's a third reason the Obama decision is stupid. I would have said to you 3 or 4 years ago that it was inconceivable that an American president would drive Canada into a partnership with China. Oh, my God. But that's what's going to happen. Prime Minister Harper is a conservative. He's pro-American. It's much less expensive and makes much more sense to bring the pipeline straight down so you don't cross any mountains. But if he's faced with a president who's not going to allow Canada to get its oil out through the United States, he's going to cut a deal with the Chinese for them to finance a pipeline across the Canadian Rockies to Vancouver, and they're going to ship it straight to China. So what Obama will have done is killed jobs, weakened American energy security, and driven Canada into the hands of China out of just sheer utter stupidity. Now,